Hi, today's notes are on section 4.3c, and we're going to be learning synthetic division. So far we've learned how to divide polynomials by factoring. This includes a few methods, GCF, X method, and grouping. We've done long division, and now we're going to talk about synthetic division. The thing we should know about synthetic division is that it's very similar to long division, but it shortens the process and it takes away some of the complicated parts of it. Keeping track of the exponents, it takes away all of the long steps and all the things you have to distribute carefully. It goes a little bit quicker. Now, the thing you need to know about synthetic division is that it only works when you can find an x-intercept. Okay, so you have to be able to, must have or be given an x-intercept. Another word for x-intercept is a zero, or a root, or a solution. Okay? And so let's take a look. So we're going to take 3x cubed minus 4x squared minus 3x minus 2, and we're going to divide it by x minus 3. Normally we would set this up as long division, and the dividend would go inside, right? This bigger term, and then this divisor goes outside. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it upside down. Okay? We need to make sure everything's in standard form, and you need to put in zeros for any missing coefficients. So here's what I do. I draw my, right now you guys aren't writing anything down, I should say, just follow, and then on the back we'll write things down. So technically this will all be in one step. So let me show you, because I've broken it up to sort of make it easier for you in terms of notes. But let's see if I can find a spot for it. Okay, I'll do it right here. It doesn't make sense. I'll do it up here. Okay. So this is how we set up long division. You draw an upside down division symbol, and you put your polynomial in standard form, and you write the coefficients, which is the numbers in front, in order. Okay, so I have 3, and I would above it write x cubed, negative 4, give yourself some space, x squared, minus 3x, and then minus 2, which is our number. Okay, so this is really important that you go from 3, 2, 1, 0 for your exponents. If you need to put in some zeros, you have to put zeros in, otherwise everything gets messed up. So that's what I showed here. Okay. Notice the negatives and positives are really important. And then you write the 0 of the divisor outside. So if the divisor is x minus 3, we know that if it has this, then my solution is x equals 3. Okay, so I'm going to write x equals 3 on the outside. Here I didn't put the x equals, but it's really helpful because you'll know then when to switch your signs or not. Do you see how you're inside the parentheses? You have to switch the sign. Okay. So now this is like an upside down division problem, and your answer is going to be here. Okay, so your quotient. Okay, so this is very procedural. This is just like always what we do. The first thing you do is bring your first coefficient down. So notice here I've drawn an arrow and we're bringing the 3 down. So I'll do this in a different color. Now that my setup is done, my first step, I always draw the arrow so I don't fill this with a number, and I bring my 3 down. Okay, and we're going to be filling in from left to right, top to bottom. So our next one is going to be this one right here. Okay. Now, it was really hard for me to show you. If I fill this all in, it's hard for you to know what comes next. So if you take a look at the next step in your notes, let's keep reading. We multiply the number outside. Okay, so 3 times 3 on the outside, and we fill in the inside. So 3 times 3 is positive 9. Now, just the same as long division, you combine, which is add or subtract, inside. Right? This is like what we did before, but just without the x's to confuse things. So negative 4 plus 9 is positive 5. And then we're going to just keep repeating the steps. We are going to, and then down here it says repeat step 4 and 5, which is multiply outside and combine inside. And then you need to bring down the first coefficient. Okay? So those are the only three things you need to remember. Multiply outside. 3 times 5 is 15. You guys see how that like fills in there? And then negative 3 plus 15 is positive 12. Multiply outside, combine inside. Multiply outside is 36. It's positive, if that helps you to put the signs in. And then 36 minus 2 is 34. And this is our shortcut for long division. Okay? So take a look. That's how I filled everything in here. And then the question is, how do you write your final answer once you have this? We know this is our answer somehow, but this makes no sense to us. So let's think real quick. If I have 3x to the third divided by x, which is our first step in long division, isn't the first term going to be 3x squared, and then we're going to have other stuff after? Right? So that must mean that this 3 is no longer an x cubed. This is now 3x squared plus, and then we just go down in exponents. Squared plus x plus 12. And the problem that we always run into is, what is this? Well, this is your remainder. How do we write remainders? We don't do remainder 34. We go plus 34 over, and we take a look at what we were dividing originally, x minus 3. So that's your final answer. Okay. And if you take a look, because you need more notes, I've written it here. Okay. The terms on the bottom are the coefficients of your quotient, which is your answer. However, since you're dividing your first term by x minus 3, the degree decreases by 1 always. Okay, and the last number is always your remainder. So that looked like a lot because I was writing out the steps in case you get stuck, but each problem, if you take a look at it, only took this tiny little space. Let's do 2 more together, and then you are going to try 4 on your own. So give me a second. Okay, so let's set it up. Our setup is going to be an upside down L. Or, sorry, a right side L. It's an upside down division symbol. This one is really important, right? So this is x plus 2 equals 0, so it's x equals negative 2, and that goes out here. Our coefficients are 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 8x, and then plus 4. Once our setup is complete, we can start by bringing down your first one. Okay, so take a moment. I'm going to take a look at the 3 steps we need to remember. Ready? Bring down the first coefficient to the outside. Multiply our numbers outside. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, and then combine. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. Okay, combine inside. And then we're going to repeat. Multiply outside. I'll write it on the side, maybe over here. Multiply outside. Combine inside. That means plus or minus, okay? So then negative 7 times negative 2. And here's where you should probably have a graphing calculator or calculator next to you. If you bring down the 2 and you go 2 times negative 2, don't retype it and go negative 3 minus 4. Just say plus negative 3. Do you see how I took negative 4? That's my answer, and I added negative 3 to it. There's my negative 7 times negative 2. There's 14. Okay, and now I know 14 plus negative 8 is 6. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. And so you see how like your calculator keeps track and you don't have to type as many things. Well, final answer. Don't stop here. Okay, so we need to write our final answer. We started with x cubed, but since I divided by 1x, it's going to be 2x squared, and your degree goes down by 1, minus 7x plus 6 plus negative 8 over, and don't use this one, use this x plus 2 that we started with. Okay. Pause your video, and I want you to actually try this one if you're able to. Okay, if you need one more example, you can pause as I write. I am going to explain one more, but I want you to be able to do as much as you can of these next two before I go over them. Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance right here to pause. So I have 5x to the 4th minus 8x cubed, negative 10x squared minus 25x, and plus 4, which is my number. This I know is going to become x equals positive 3, because it's x minus 3 equals 0 right now. So I'll set that up. Okay, make sure you have your plus 3 on the outside. And I'll walk you through one more. You guys ready? Bring down the 5, multiply outside. I'll just start it here. Ready? 3 times 5 is 15. I assume nothing when I do this. I always check my answers with a calculator. Plus negative 8 is 7 times 3, 21, plus negative 10, which is 11, times 3, 33, plus negative 25, which is 8, times 3, right? So I'm always timesing by 3 over here, which is 24, and then plus 4, which is 28. Okay. The only thing different about this one is that your exponents are going to be different. So instead of x to the 4th power here, I'm going to have 5x to the 3rd plus 7x squared plus 11x plus 8 plus 28 over x minus 3. Please box your answer at the end. Okay, I'm going to pause the video here and do the next one. Okay, so here are your answers to check. This next one, I'm going to just give you the setup. This is a tiny bit different. So I want you guys to notice here that there's a 2x cubed, there's a 1x squared, but there's a 0x that you need to add in. Okay, so this one is a little tricky because if you don't add the 0x, then your entire synthetic division is going to be wrong. Okay. So I'm going to actually pause the video here. I'm going to fill in all the answers, but your job is to fill in the work. Don't just cheat and copy my answers, okay? For homework, if you get up to this point, I'll give you half credit. If you do all of it, then you get the rest of your credit. Okay, please check your answers. I realized I actually showed my work this time and I caught a mistake here, so please fix that in your answers. And then I did not fill in the numbers. Please do so yourself, and I've just given you the answers here. Okay, this is it for today's notes. Please make sure you have your work filled in. I'll see you in class tomorrow.